Hello folks and welcome back. This video is gonna be towards macros and specifically for range classes like mages, warlocks, priests, boomies, shamans, whatever range class you play. This macro is gonna save you a lot of clicking, a lot of time paying attention on not that important things other than mechanics and your rotation. So what the macro looks like, it's basically, let's say living bomb for example. The macro is gonna cast living bomb if you have a target and if you move your mouse over the nameplate on some other target and you press the living bomb, is gonna put living bomb on this target without you need to select the target to do it. And if you hold out and you have a focus target, it's gonna do the same spell on your focus target. So let's say we're on Lich King, for example, right? This master training dummy is Lich King. So normally what you do, you keep your normal rotation, like you spamming fireball, fireball, fireball. Valks are coming, three Valks are dropping from the sky. In order to start DPS in the Valks, you need to click on this, press, let's say I want to do living bomb on all three of them, then I go to the next one, I click, then I go to the next one and I have to click again. Then if I want to DPS this Valk because it's going closer to the edge, I need to click on this Valk again. Then the Valks are dead, I have to go and click again on the Lich King if I don't have a macro for targeting Lich King, stuff like this. But we can completely ignore this clicking, like this is just annoying as hell for me, and it's like wasting your time clicking. You don't want to do that, but with this macro is pretty easy. Let's say again we are on Lich King doing our normal rotation. The Valks are coming, so these three targets are the Valks. What we want to do, it's simple. We just hang over our mouse over the first Valk, we do living bomb, then we do the same on the second one, then we do the same on the third one. And then we hang over to this Valk because this is going closer to the edge. Let's say we're doing damage on that Valk. And then we want some other Valk to DPS, hang over our mouse over the nameplate on this Valk and we're doing damage on that. Then we want to DPS the other one, let's say. We just hang over our mouse there and we're gonna start DPSing this Valk. Like we completely remove all the clickings that we usually do, and we have Lich King our main target. So when now the Valks are like under 50%, they free the people that they pick, we're just gonna keep doing our normal rotation. And that's it. This is the same when you're a Deathbringer, for example. You're doing damage, 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 Deathbringer, then the Trash is coming, you as a range should DPS this trash. So let's say I want to DPS this out here, I'm just gonna hang over my mouse there and just gonna start DPSing. I don't need to click on this target to start DPSing this target. I can do the same on the next target. I'm just hang over my mouse, press my button to whatever spell I'm using, I'm just gonna do damage there. Let's say I'm Warlock, I'm doing Corruption here, Unstable Affliction, then I'm changing to the next one, I'm doing again the same thing, Corruption, Unstable Affliction, or Shadow Ball, whatever I'm using. I don't need to click, I just need to point with my mouse, and I'm after that I just remove my mouse from whatever target I was DPSing and I'm just gonna DPS that bringer. So this saved me a lot of clicking, target switching, whatever. Because even if you use macro, like let's say you use tab for macros, like whatever you're facing, you're gonna target this. This is again a clicking. Like again, one more button that you need to press. Like you need to press this to swap, then start doing damage. Like you don't want to do that. It's just it's not necessary. It's time wasting. The same thing with focus, right? So let's say we have a boss or something that it's with two targets that we need to do damage on it. Let's say we are on, I don't know, PP, right? We're on Professor and we have boss and we have the oozes coming. Let's say I'm DPSing green ooze or whatever ooze I'm DPSing. I can make one of two things. I can keep my focus on the boss, like I can focusing the boss and doing damage on the uses. And that way, when I hold Alt key and I press my key, it's gonna do living bomb on the boss or whatever dot spell you want to do there. And I can just DPS those, right? And I see that from my boss, the dot, let's say corruption, unstable affliction is gonna expire. I hold out, I press it, and I do that. Like, see, I don't need to swap targets, I don't need to do anything. Then the uses that I'm DPSing is that I'm just gonna target instantly my focus target, which is the boss, and my target is gonna swap. It's pretty easy. It's not gonna make you like lose concentration, because that way you're gonna do damage on both targets simultaneously, not just one target. Because as a range class, you have dots and spells that you can keep on both targets. This is gonna improve your damage and overall your like seeing the game, because a lot of people just they're targeting with mouse like this and using spells. This is a lot of time consuming. Like you don't want to do that when you can do it very easy way. Just pointing with your mouse over the nameplate and just press the button, whatever spells you want to use, and you can do it. Like you see, I did 3 living bombs on 3 target, and my main target was this. Even if I don't have main target, just mouse over, I'm gonna do living bomb as well. So it's just easy as that. This goes for every range class, every range spell that you want to use. It's very useful, specifically when you have a lot of targets and that you want to swap. Like I said, Deadbringer is a good example. Let's say tombs on Cindergods are a good example as well, because usually how the guilds are doing it these days, they're stacking 2 tombs on the left side, 2 tombs on the middle, 2 tombs on the right side. So in order to DPS from left to right tombs, you either need to use like tab to select the target, or just click with your mouse. But you completely ignore that, because only thing that you need to do is just hang over your mouse over the tomb and just press the button. It's gonna start DPSing this tomb or whatever you're DPSing. It's pretty useful, and I think you should use it. It's gonna save you a lot of time and a lot of trouble, because this is very useful macro once you learn it. The good thing about it, it's good on every expansion, specifically like in the later patches when there are mythic pluses and stuff. We need to do a lot of target switching. So targeting with your mouse, start casting, it's like gonna slow you down. Another thing as a range you want to use, like another Mouseover macro or whatever, is for your buffs that you need to do. For example, as a buff, I have focus magic, right? In order to do focus magic, normally I need to target this person that, let's say, I want to do focus magic on it, and I have to cast focus magic, like bam, now he have focus magic, right? But why I want to do that? Like, I don't want to target. Like, this is just one more click that we don't need to do. Let's say we're in the raid and our raid frames are here. The other mage is like here. We just move our mouse over the name of the mage that we want to do and press the macro. We don't have to click to target, then to press the macro. Let's say this is the mage. Boom, you have it. There you go. Like, it's pretty easy, because only thing that you need to do is just hang over your mouse over the raid frame that you want to do, use your spell, and just press it. You completely remove the targeting thing, like first you target, then you press. Like the same thing goes for let's say the same things goes for let's say these spells, like things like this, like every buff, or even this remove curse thing on the mage, for example, because we're on the mage. It's pretty easy. Another useful macro is like when you have the ability to use 2 spells and downgrade them. Like, let's say, for example, you can use Flame Strike rank. What's the biggest rank? I think the biggest rank is rank 9. Let's say Flame Strike. Yes, Flame Strike. rank 9 and then flame strike rank 8. Like what this macro is gonna do, it's gonna cast first flame strike rank 9 and then when I press it again it's gonna cast flame strike rank 8 and it's gonna reset after 3 seconds. Like here you can have a condition to reset the macro with a button, but still again one more click, and as I said we want to remove as much clicks from our gameplay as we can, so we don't need to focus on unimportant things. Because if you make this macro with a button click and you don't press this button to reset the macro, it's not gonna cast anything. So for example, if I want to do like two Flame Strike, rank 9 and rank 8, instead of having two different keybinds, one for rank 9 and one for rank 8, I can have just this macro and I just press it. Like here is the macro, I press it once, it's gonna cast rank 9, I press it 2 times, it's gonna cast rank 8. And that's it, and it's automatically reset because it's on 3 seconds, like without any buffs from anything, from raid or from Pyroblast. When you hit with Pyroblast your buff. The Flame Strike cast is 1.5 seconds around base gear, so like you see the cast time, boom, boom, now I have like 2 Flame Strikes, rank 8, rank 9 on one key. Like it's pretty useful. You should start using macros to make your game smoother, your gameplay smoother, and you don't need to worry and pay attention to stuff that are not important for you. Because it's really not important, like you know that you need to DPS these other targets, but you don't have to click on every single one of them and start DPSing. That's like time wasting. And then again to click on the main target, like that's a lot of clicking, guys. Like you, for example, as I said on Lich King, we're DPSing Lich King, then I want to DPS this Valk, I click on this Valk, DPS for a bit, then I want to DPS on this Valk, I click on this Valk, then start DPS, then on this Valk again, and then I move there. So that's 4 clicks that we can completely ignore. And imagine if you are dungeon doing damage on, like let's say trash, whatever, a lot of targets, and your targets die. In order to start DPSing the other targets again, you need to click or you need to press tab or whatever you are using to targeting mobs. Like that's time consuming, and all you have to do is just point with your mouse over the nameplate of the mob you want to DPS and start DPSing. Like see how it is. It's just you should start doing that. I believe it's gonna help you a lot once you learn it, how to use it. It's very useful in PvP also. Let's say I'm mage or whatever I am, and I have like 2 targets. This is my main target here. The star is my main target. The circle is the healer, right? So if I want to do ship on the healer, you have 2 options normally. First option is if you have ship on focus, you press your focus and you press the key to ship, and it's gonna ship the focus target, which if you have focus on the healer, it's gonna ship the healer, right? But that way it's really cool. But you can do the same thing with Mouseover. Like you see, this target is your main target that you want to ship or fear or whatever spell you want to use. You just hang over your mouse and do it, because sometimes, specifically on PvP, it's really confusing for the other team. Like let's say I'm targeting the DPS, right? But in reality, I want to DPS the healer. So if I have my spells with when I hold out or whatever condition you use to do your spell on your focus target, like you can have without, control, or shift. That are the 3 modes that we can use for our spells. So again, I want to DPS actually the healer, not DPS in the arena or whatever I'm trying to do. So this will confuse them because he will see me that I'm casting Pyroblast, right? But I'm targeting the DPS class, not the healer. but in reality my pyroblast it's gonna jump into the healer, so he's gonna receive damage and he might not be prepared. The same thing with my dots, right? I see that the healer is open, I can DPS it, I'm just spamming this. I'm targeting my DPS or whatever target I'm targeting, I'm not targeting the healer, but in the reality I'm casting to him. So this will save you, this will make them confused for a bit. And it's useful in PV as well, as I said, like target switching, you don't want to click and move. What else? As I said, macro for focus magic is pretty simple. Let me find it. I'm gonna put the macros in the paste bin so you can copy. This macro is a bit bigger because I want to say on which target I'm doing my focus magic. If you don't want to say anything like this, you can use just this line here, because in order to say on which target you're gonna do your focus magic, your PI, your innervate, whatever spells, it needs to target the target first. So basically what the macro do, first target the target that you want to do your spell, and then cast the spell, then return to last target. That way you can see I'm targeting this heroic dummy. I want to do, let's say, focus magic on this mage here. It's casting focus magic on him and my target is not changing, so that's what the macro does. So yeah guys, basically that's what's the macro I want to talk about and show you how it's working. I'm sure that it's gonna help you, like doing things faster, because as I said, you don't want to click on the target and start DPSing this target when you have to swap targets. It's really useful in my case, and I think it's gonna help you as well. Another thing that you want, like as a let's say I'm a mage, Cinder goes oppose me in, or I have a lot of stacks on Unchained Magic, whatever. You know, you're doing Ice Block, and usually if you don't have cancel our macro for this Ice Block, you need to right click it. But if you have it on a macro, you can just press the macro and it's gonna remove the Ice Block, so you don't have to look for your buffs where the Ice Block buff is, so you can right click and remove it. In my case, this is on spell steal, so I'm doing Ice Block, and after the danger is over I can just press that and it's gonna remove my Ice Block immediately. So yeah guys, again I'm gonna show you the macro. Like I said, I have it on every spell, it's pretty useful. Basically what it does, it's allow you 3 keybinds into one, because one is Mouseover, one is your target and one is for your focus target. You can have mods here with control alt as well, you can put other spells too, but this simple macro is very useful because it removes all the targeting that you need to do by clicking with your mouse. You just need to put your mouse over the nameplate on the target and you can press the spell that you want to use and it's gonna start casting there, or dotting, or whatever you want to use. So yeah guys, I hope you enjoyed. I'm gonna try to do the same thing with very useful macros for like healers, tanks, and melee DPSers. They're not so good macros for them, but still there's some useful. And yeah, enjoy it.